Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Kevin Holland might have been the best fight that we've ever seen inside the UFC octagon. And I know, that's big talk. You're crazy, Bisping. We've had a lot of good fights, and maybe it's recency bias. But in Orlando, Florida, Saturday night, in front of a sold house, the crowd was epic. That fight was ridiculous, okay? Absolutely ridiculous. The techniques that we saw from Stephen Thompson, the showmanship and the gameness and the toughness that we saw from Kevin Holland, and the excitement back and forth. I mean, come on. It doesn't really get much better than that. Now, coming into this fight, both guys kind of agreed. It was kind of an unwritten rule. We shook hands. They said, we're not going to take each other down. And that was awesome. That had our mouths watering at the prospect of this fight, because Kevin Holland, very, very tall, 81-inch reach, great striker, excellent on the ground, not the best wrestling. Of course, Khamzat Chimaev showed that, no offense to Holland. But Stephen Wonderboy Thompson also on the feet, again, absolutely incredible. The wrestling department, that's kind of how he lost his last two couples. So for these two coming into this one, agreeing that they were going to fight, my God, absolutely sensational stuff. And they stayed true to that, okay? They went out there. Wonderboy showed all of his skills, you know, the kicks, the spinning hook kicks, the striking, the punching charges were just unbelievable. But Kevin Holland, landed a lot of huge shots as well, you know, hit him with that big, huge, I think it was a right hand, kind of dropped him, kind of stumbled him into the fence in round one. That might have been the punch that broke his hand. Now, as the fight progressed, Wonderboy started to take over. And I think it was round two. There was a couple of occasions where Holland actually got on top. Not from a takedown, from a scramble, from a slip, from catching a kick. A lot of crazy stuff happens in the octagon when you're fighting at that kind of pace. Because let's just talk about that. That pace was ridiculous. That's another reason why the fight was so exciting. But in those scrambles, in the madness, in the melee on the tele, he fell on the floor. And Holland could have stayed on top of him, but he didn't. He was a man of his word, which was beautiful to see. He said, no, come on, let's get up, let's fight on the feet like we agreed. But as the fight went on and on, it wasn't so much that Kevin Holland lost the will to win. It wasn't that he got tired. It's just that Thompson was on goddamn fire. He was fast. He was brutal. The power of some of those kicks were it was just unbelievable. And how Kevin Holland was able to take them. Now, granted, a lot of the time he had his hand there. And maybe that's what broke his hand as well. Because you block the hand, but you're still taking the impact on the hand. Now, of course, we know today that two of the metatarsals, these bones, they're broken. So it could have been from a punch, or it could have been from blocking them. We've seen many times the forearm get snapped from blocking kicks like that. Rich Franklin broke the arm. No, Chuck Liddell broke the arm of Rich Franklin when they fought back in the day. And it's kind of a common thing. So regardless of what broke the hand got broke, okay? So that restricted Kevin, but also, I'll tell you what restricted Kevin, the kicks, taking them one after the other. Because even though you block them, you still feel the impact. If you can break your arm, it's going to travel through the hand. It still rattles the brain. Kevin Holland showed unbelievable heart. The amount of hook kicks that he took clean to the dome and still stood there and still called him on and still continued to fight. Now, as the fight progressed, this no wrestling business kind of went out the window, because Kevin Holland thought, fuck this, I need to win and I've got to do what I can. And he's trying to take him down, trying to get on top. Holland's sprawl was on point. He was practicing the sprawl. If we saw a look into the locker rooms, he was practicing the sprawl. So he was kind of expecting it. And hey, listen, that's fine. I have nothing against Kevin Holland saying we're not going to shoot, but then shooting, because it all goes out the fucking window. When you're in there and someone's trying to kill you and they're trying to take your head off, never mind the career, never mind winning and losing. At that moment in time, it's about survival. So Kevin Holland was trying to take him down. The sprawl of Wonderboy was on point and he wasn't able to do so. But it was a genius shift from Thompson, because what he did, he kept throwing high. Holland kept blocking. What did he do then? Of course, the hand is high to block the kick, but that leaves this open. And of course, Wonderboy being a southpaw, it's a kick to the liver. Oh my God, the power, the slap that it made, it echoed around the entire arena, and he kept going back to that well. And that was the beginning of the end for Kevin Holland. It really was. And that is not, there's nothing critical to say about that fight. It was unbelievable, okay? And yes, at the end of round 4, I'm not sure if it was Holland that waved it off to his coach or the coach that waved it off. But regardless, it was the right call, okay? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson was in the zone, okay? He was having fun. And when you're in that zone, okay, you are dangerous. You're having fun. You can't miss. Every time you throw a kick, it connects. And that just fills you with more and more confidence. So you throw more. He wasn't getting tired. He wasn't slowing down. He was having fun. He was playing with his food because at that point, he had his number. He had a wounded opponent. He had a hurt animal. He had someone there, a victim almost to tee off on because Holland was hurt to the head, to the body. The hand, he couldn't really throw it, you know? So it made sense because you live to fight another day. And was it one of the best fights of the year? I don't know. Jack Black certainly thought so. I mean, that would have been amazing. If you didn't know, Jack Black, who I'm such a fan of, was supposed to walk Holland out. Thompson out to the octagon and sing Wonder Man, not Wonder Boy, from I think it's Tenacious D, but wasn't able to because of a scheduling conflict.
The fight's not over. All right, here we go. Dan Murgliana's pausing the action because of a groin strike.
He thought it was a liver kick.
It was a groin, right?
Oh my God, don't tell me what's happening? This is like a crazy fight. I'm saying it's the fight of the year. Oh man, I don't know what's happening now though. They're taking a break. I think there might have been a nut shot. It was on the belt. It wasn't on the nut. It was above the nut. Are they going to call this fight off? Oh, no, we're back in it, baby. Dude, check out Wonderboy. He's all dinged up, but he's still fighting. Two warriors. Woo! These kicks are lightning fast. Oh, Karate Kid still got it. Oh, look out for Kung Fu Panda. He's still got some, too. Oh, ow, Spinner-o. Oh, taking it to the ground? No. All right, I got to get back in here, guys. I'm sorry, I'm out.
That would have been just the icing of the cake, on the cake. Oh, it's early. It's early. I've had hardly any sleep at the weekend. Flew back from Toronto. About to get my workout in, but wanted to talk about this fight because it was sensational. Now, another thing to mention is that today or yesterday, there's some reports, Bisping is critical of Kevin Holland for not going for the takedowns. And I just want to address this real quick because the headlines, and listen, from respectable outlets, MMA Junkie, MMA Fighting, they're like, Bisping criticizes Kevin Holland for not going for the takedown and all the rest of it. It wasn't a criticism. I was critiquing the performance because as analysts, as commentators, that's what we have to do. Granted, at that moment in time when the fight was happening, it was sensational. I even said this might have been one of the greatest fights I've ever witnessed. As I say, maybe a little recency bias, but you can't deny that fight was sensational. So it kind of had some people scratching their heads that after the fact, I'm saying Kevin Holland should have gone for takedowns. And he should have done because, yes, as a fan, sensational. And this is certainly not a criticism of Kevin Holland. No way, that fight was amazing. And I'm in such awe. And it was just inspiring from both men. It was unbelievable. But when it's done, it's our job as analysts to sit down and say, okay, what could have been done different? Because yes, you want to go out there, you want to entertain, you want to put on the show, you want to be remembered. And he will. And he did all those things. But you also want to win. Because if you win, you get one step closer to the title. When you win, it gets remembered in the history books. And if you become the champ, then you make a lot more money, a significant amount of more money, and you get more opportunities. You get more sponsors because people want to be around winners. Brands want to be associated with winners. Of course, Kevin Holland, I'm not saying his stock goes down, but not shooting, not taking advantage of the couple of times where he was on top. That was kind of a mistake in hindsight. Okay, that's not me being critical. I'm just saying with the benefit of hindsight, with it all being in the rearview mirror, if you could have done something different, then maybe you should have done that. Because in round 4, he was trying to do that and he couldn't do it because he was hurt, because he was a little slower, because the sprawl of Thompson was sensational. Okay, it's not a criticism. It is critiquing. It is looking at it from a coach's perspective, from an analyst perspective. You know, when they all sit around Monday, Tuesday, whenever I have a debrief with the coaches and the team, they would have been like, if they're honest, yeah, we should have taken advantage of that. We should have kept position. We should have looked for a submission. But it doesn't matter because that fight was one of the goddamn best that I've ever seen, certainly in recent memory. What do you think? Was it one of the best? Let me know in the comments. What is the best fight you have ever seen? I might do a video on that. The best fights of all time in the UFC. So if you have suggestions, put them in the comments. My God, what a fight. Stephen Thompson, take a bow. Kevin Holland, take a bow. What a show of respect. What a display of martial arts at the highest level. Loved it, loved it. Subscribe, ring the bell. See you later.